Sure. Oh,
I
yeah.
better
The
go
Lord
this
will
way.
lifting.
Talk about how you met.
Well, that was in college at Creighton.
I remember him, organic chemistry lab, just goofing around, and I was thinking, what the heck? This guy is such a goofball.
I think she's nuts to have stuck me for 45 years, okay? And one of the pathologists at Creighton, he was a DO. I wasn't really sure what that was at the time, but I just asked him about what it was, because the other guys had MD, and he had DO, and he told me the DO stands for Doctor the Obvious. And so, and I've kept that to this day.
I had no clue about DO schools. I had a difficult interview when at Creighton, when this particular person had told me we should not admit women to medical school because they're just going to get married, have children, and not practice a full-time practice. So with that in the back of my mind, I'm going to show him. Once we decided to get married, he was accepted to medical school. We didn't want a long-distance relationship. I got a job at the Iowa Methodist lab as a phlebotomist. They were hiring phlebotomists. And then I met this resident, internal medicine resident at Iowa Methodist, and I'm looking at him and I come to this realization, I'm at least as smart as you are. And I think I'm a little more socially advanced than you are. And that night I came home, I think I said, I want to apply to medical school. When I arrived at Des Moines University, I felt welcomed. I felt welcomed by the faculty. My interview experience was way better.
You can look at the yearbooks, because I was the editor and photographer of the yearbooks. You can look at the yearbooks. Yes, we'd occasionally have picnics on campus where they would have beer. The president of the university was a rabbi. We'd have a pig roast. He wouldn't eat the pig, but he would
drink the
come by
beer.
and have beer with the students. And that relationship building is actually the fundamental part of good medical care.
I know I felt the most comfortable with was that what we call bedside teaching. Whether it's at the bedside in the hospital or at the clinic bed, the clinic exam table. Why? Because somebody did it for me. You know, that's why I do it. And the other thing is the patients love it. The cooperativeness and cohesiveness that I felt 40 years ago as I was graduating from Des Moines University is still within the system here. We learned to do the interprofessional care that we're going to deliver when we get out and start their practice of medicine.
Yes, you're going to work hard. You are going to learn a tremendous amount, and you do need to learn it because your patients are going to depend on that knowledge. But we'll help you learn how.
I told his siblings that I married him for his family because I loved his family, and I love him as well. He's just an excellent partner. Yeah.
Do I get the final word?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. That's the final word.
That's like the first time. Put that on tape. Home is that place where you go to rebuild the spirit that lets you go back out the next day and do what you are doing. So don't mess with that. And that's what she's done.